Every time I open my YouTube app, I see one coaching video or the other. It's kind of funny at this point, but it's either how to manifest abundance or how to live your dream life or how to unstuck yourself from a period of stuckness, right? It's actually really, really weird at this point. And don't get me wrong, I am one of them. I'm literally making up to prepare for this video, but I just thought to start the video at this point, right? So, I'm one of them, but I came across a video and I was just in a comment section, and seeing a comment just made me question everything about how we coaches tend to give off the vibe that we have this on lockdown, we figured it all out, and we're just dishing advice, tips, hacks on how to get your dream life, how to manifest this, because I mean we manifested abundance, right? How to get past hurt, how to move past a season of period of stuckness, how to do this, how to do that. Amazing. This is not even to mock the niche because it's actually a very valid thing. And while some people have figured it out, hold on, what do I use? Do I use this? Do I go bold or do I go this? I don't know. But let's see. While some people may have handled some life situations and be at a better place to dish advice and hacks, the truth is we all are figuring life out. Not one person has it on lockdown, right? Not one person has it on lockdown. And as for me personally, I mean, I've had my own fair share of things. I lost two family members in the space of 7 months. I lost a job within that same time period. I lost a relationship. I dealt with rejections left, right, and center. It felt like I was pushing to get something, but I wasn't getting through. It just felt like an invisible wall was there where I kept hitting and trying, but nothing, thinking it was a door. Meanwhile, it was a wall in my mind, right? And it just felt as if nothing was happening. And I can tell you for free that while these things were happening, it actually affected my mindset, where at some points I didn't even realize that I was living in a victim's mindset and I was operating from that level. So and I'll tell you how I got to know that I was operating from that level. Quite simple. Well, in the time it wasn't simple. It was actually very hard to figure it out because I mean these things came on at once. That popular saying, when it rains it pours. It came on at once, and again, do I completely have it on lockdown? No, not at all. But the truth is, many of these coaches are giving advice or tips and hacks, most based on things that they've actually dealt with in their lives, while others are giving based on theoretical knowledge of what they think you should do. And the truth is, we are also figuring it out. I want to talk more about your mindset after going through a season or a period of loss or trauma or anything that you weren't expecting and really affected your productivity. I feel like that's what I just want to talk to you about. But come on, let's head on over to the studio. Okay, hi guys. Now can we start the video proper or the session? So when we go through different things in life, things that are negative, things that tend to limit us or confine us or are just traumatizing, it does something massive to our brain system, especially when it's recurrent or when it's for a prolonged period of time. For me, it happened in a space of 3 years, right? Or even less than, it happened in a space of 2 to 3 years, and it was quite a lot. I lost family members, I lost friends. All of this were young people that I thought that I was going to grow old with. I lost a job, I lost jobs, and some I actually voluntarily let go because it was just too much for my mind and my peace of mind. I lost friends. I decided to try out some other things, and I was trying and trying, but couldn't even make headway. There were just different things. There was health scares, there were diagnoses. It was a lot. And imagine this happening in so short a time, and how that must have been so traumatizing for me. In fact, I found myself answering a particular question while I was preparing for an exam, and I noticed that this particular question, I answered everything correctly, and I was wondering, oh wow, I'm really good. I literally answered all of these questions correctly, and when I checked, I saw that the reason why I answered these questions this good is because I was going through what the question was about. So this was PTSD. And I have a nursing, a psychology background. So with that and with the lived experiences and even my faith, I mean, just to cut the long story short, I was able to come out of that. I'm still figuring it out, but I'm figuring it out with the mixture of these three things, right? And that's literally what made me decide that this is the path that I want to go. But I didn't just decide, it took some form of self discovery and asking questions again. So, back to the main topic for the day, your mindset after trauma or after dealing with a season of loss. The mindset is basically down, beaten, low. If there's any other vocabulary that you can use to describe the mindset, I would like to hear from you. So please comment down below what you think your mindset after trauma. If you've been in such a situation, comment below what that could be. So, but in that time, I was basically not, we felt as if I was picking myself up, but I was picking myself up with a mindset of fear and with a mindset of, what if I'm happy again and something happens and catches me off guard? Or what if I try something again and I get a no? Or if someone does something to me, I react with, oh, well, you're doing it to me because I don't have this person. So I was likening and linking everything that was happening around me to the situations or the things that I had gone through. So in that time, I would say it did affect how productive that I was. Remember that I had to let go of a particular job that I loved, was very profitable to me. I had to let go of that because I didn't think that I was being productive enough. So it could actually affect your productivity, where you aren't being as resilient as you want to be. When you think you're even being resilient, you're really not, because you probably try something today and it doesn't work out, so you give up and you liken the rejection or the failure to the things that happened in your life. I don't know if anyone watching me can relate to that. So that was basically what was happening. And one thing that I used to come up from there was, like I said, I have a background in nursing and psychology. That, and also going further to understand these things, plus faith, that really helped me, because I realized that if I wanted to see any positive change on the outside, I really needed to heal on the inside. I really needed my mind, my intellect, my emotions to be so healed from the situations that had happened. And this is not denying or numbing down the pain, the hurt from every single thing that had happened. This is actually acknowledging them and then dealing with them. So what I did again was acknowledge them. So I acknowledged every single thing that had gone wrong in the past few months that had put me in that situation. Every single one of them. And not with a state of, or not with a sense of pity, like, oh wow, this happened to me, this happened to me. Nah, not with any of that. So I acknowledged everything that went wrong, and I decided in that time that I was just gonna stay still and listen to what was being communicated to me. I mean, there were some things that I couldn't reverse or bring back, but for those situations that I couldn't reverse, like the loss of actual people, when by loss I meant in death, the loss of actual people, I took time to grieve. I knew that I needed to grieve. I needed to feel all my emotions, but I grieved from a place of gratitude. And I know that's actually very, very strange because in that time you're hurt, you're not understanding a lot of things, you probably feel scared, and but I realized that while I would ask questions, but if I grieved from a place of anger, and prolonged anger, if so, I would be hurting myself. So I felt all my emotions, the sadness, the guilt, the anger, but it always carried at the end of every single time I had an outburst, it always carried gratitude as a seal to it. So I basically was grateful for each situation. And because I am a Christian and a believer, all I could just say was, God, you are good for this situation, regardless. And this happened not because of the evil in you, but this happened because you are good. And whatever happened, you allowed it, right? Whatever happened, you allowed it. You didn't cause it, but you allowed it. And that actually really helped me after every outburst where when I would get a moment of sadness or cry or feel a sense of pity for myself or even angry at the situations, I'd probably wonder why me, like why are these things happening to me, and why did this, not even about me, but why did these things happen to so and so, and why is it that even despite all of these things and how that made me feel, these other things on the outside are also not working as planned. So it also made me so angry, but in all of that, again, gratitude. And once I acknowledged it all and expressed gratitude, I decided to just take moments of stillness. So I knew that it had to be more. For me, it had to be more. It had to be, and I hope that this is just a chit chat, right? But I realized that it had to be more than just what was happening. I mean, people had gone, people that I thought I was going to grow old with had gone. There were different things that were happening in my life that it just didn't feel like going back to what was would suffice. I mean, it didn't make sense actually. It didn't make sense for me to go back to what was. So the way that I was before died in that moment. It died with every single thing. And when I decided to rise again from the ashes, I knew that I wanted to rise. I wanted to rise with a deeper sense of purpose. I've always been, anyone who knows me knows that I've always talked about being purposeful, having a purpose, being driven, purpose driven, and just knowing what you were supposed to do. But this was a whole different ball game where it just like I'm still figuring that out, but it just felt like I've talked about purpose, I've talked about substance in the past. People know that I've talked about that, but now I'm talking about purpose and what purpose is for me right now, but not just what I think that purpose is, but what is being communicated to me regarding purpose. And purpose that is communicated isn't necessarily serving your ego. And that's what you should know. Purpose isn't necessarily serving your ego. It's going to serve people around you. It's going to serve, it might not be the full on community, it might not be, something so big, but it's going to serve people around you. And in that time, it was beyond just a career. It was beyond a source of income. It was about purpose. And I realized that, well, you're feeling these things right now, but so many other people feel these things, right? They feel either one, two, three, or even more, and they're dealing with this. You've been so blessed with these tools, right? This science, logical part of it, and this side of faith that trumps all. You've been so blessed with it, and you've been growing. You are literally surrounded with every single thing that you need. And it might not seem that way, but you are. So I knew that it had to be more. I knew that there had to be more. But the truth is that I would get, because of the mindset that I had as a result of this. And let's go back. Prior to all these things happening in this time frame, I was typically the go-getter. I knew what I wanted. Once I had a plan, I hatched it. I would take a moment, possibly just, but once I felt like this was it, I was going for it, even despite any odds, despite the obstacles or any barriers to me, I would go, go, go. But once all of these things happened, I would get, pushback and go back and lie down on my bed and just feel like, why is this happening to me? No, I can't do. Every single time I got a pushback, it did not happen in isolation in my mind. It felt like a continuation of the things that I had been through. So that's the mindset thing. And it felt like, nah, this is happening because, for some reason, I'm just in this place. It's me, a complete victim's mindset, which I didn't even realize because I would be the one to tell people, oh no, don't have a victim's mindset. But here I was operating from that angle. I was operating from that place. So I would have pushbacks even for the things that I wanted to do. And I knew that I was going to be this, so I would have get pushbacks, and in all of these things, there would be times when I, just go back into a dark space where I don't want to get up, I don't want to do anything. It just felt as if the world was against me. It just felt like nothing was working. It felt as if you know, things were just not lined up to favor me. It felt dark. And but when once I'm there and I get a tiny burst of motivation, I would get up and try again. And I realized in that time, oh no, not even necessarily in that time, but I realized a few months after that it was basically two things. There's the night season and there's the day season. So for the night time, you are different things are happening and it doesn't look as if things are lining up perfectly for you. It feels as if you have all of this thoughts, ideas, but you are trying and it doesn't feel as if it's working. And for each thing that happens, you liken it or you link it back to the things that you had gone through, or even if it's just one thing, if it's a divorce, somehow you feel bad for yourself, like, oh, all of these things are happening to me, and it just makes you feel sad and down and heavy, not productive. And when you get a burst of motivation, and that's why motivation wouldn't work in this time, what would work is revelation, not motivation, revelation. So once you've acknowledged the pain, the negative situations and circumstances that happened, once you felt your feelings, dealt with everything, make sure that you cap it all up with gratitude. Once you've done that, don't get up and try to start doing things. Recognize your purpose is the third one, but don't get up to start doing things because you feel like, oh no, you have to turn your pain to purpose, because that's what motivation tells you, right? No, don't do that. Um, Turn every motivation to revelation. So revelation would work in this time because you need to realize then that it's two things, the night season and the day season. So the night season is when all of these things are working not according to plan. And the day season is when it's you can see and it feels as if things are lining up, right? So when you are in the night season, don't go try things based off motivation. Revelation trumps motivation. So that was the mistake that I made. I kind of knew that, okay, my purpose was going to be to do this. My purpose was going to be to, it's still unfolding. I really don't want to go deeper into it. I knew the first part of what I was going to do, regarding purpose now, but um I didn't necessarily know have the full context. I didn't know what exactly was going to be my message. I knew it was going to be something in this space. I didn't know what was going to be my message. I didn't know how to. I didn't know who to. I didn't know when to. I just knew why. to some extent. So I would get a bit of motivation and feel like, oh yeah, this. I mean, I did a whole lot. I registered a company, I got company cards, I started working on a website, but I didn't necessarily know the exact message that I was supposed to. And the truth is that if something was communicated to me in that time, it's now left for me to dig deeper to find out the rest of that information. But what I did in the time that I did was go off the headline and decide to write the script by myself. Eventually, I decided to, after trying, I came across different things. And when you listen, the truth is, when you listen to what is being communicated, the universe will spell it out for you, right? So for me, God kept telling me different things through what was out there. I would come across something and I knew that this was it, but I still didn't know how to until I decided to take a break, which I explained in the previous video. Nothing was working. I decided to take a break. I took a 3-day digital break as well. Solitude, I engaged in meditation in 3 parts: creative imagination, mindful retrospection, introspective forecasting. I at this point that I was doing all of these, or I think at the point of introspective forecasting, I started listening to people and just getting resources and materials that I needed. No motivation, just things that I needed to really align my mind. When it comes to the mind, there has to be a recurrent renewal of the mind. It doesn't just happen in 2 days or 3 days. It has to be recurrent. You have to just keep filling your mind with the right tools. And for me, it's still ongoing, and that's the reason why I can tell you this. So that was what I did. And by the time I was done, there was a clear strategy. Even with that strategy, I've altered it a little bit, because the thing is, resilient is not being stuck on your ways like, oh, it was A. It has to be A. It could be A, but what if you have to take a detour through B, C, down to A? I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So, the strategy just may differ from time to time, because the more you dig deeper, the more you know. So that was literally what happened. And each time that it felt as if I was tired and all of that, I just had to feed my mind with the right things. And that's how you renew your mind after a loss or after a traumatizing event. I started to see a shift first in my mind, in my willingness to show up for things regardless, right? Willingness to show up. Like I said, the law of gravity is present. It was present, but we still learned how to fly. So those things may not necessarily change, but you still have to learn how to fly. Regardless, what stops you from flying? It's your mind. Your mind stops or could hinder how you fly. So you could decide that moment, that period of confinement where you felt helpless, you could decide that, oh well, I'm confined, I'm helpless, there's no one to help me and everything. Why is all of these things happening to me? Or you could use that confinement for searching deeper, for more revelation, so you know what you should do. You can change your night season today as quickly as you get light. The truth is that when it comes to confinement, look it up. Confinement could either mean being in an enclosed area and not being able to get out, or it could mean a woman in labor trying to birth. So you decide what confinement means to you and your journey. Does it mean you being in an enclosed area and not being able to get out? Or you could turn that around and make it a period where you're trying to birth something. I realized that we come off as having figured it all out, but the truth is we are still figuring it out, and we addition based on what we've conquered. We addition based off what we've used, not just tools that are out there for everyone to see, read, but tools that we've taken, we've handled, we've practicalized, we've internalized, we've used, and it's yielded results. So again, it's still a journey, and not one person has it fully figured out. And that's the reason why I decided to come here to have this chit chat with a coach on the mindset after trauma. After trauma, just know that renewing your mind is literally the main thing, because whatever traumatizing situation that you went through, it's a call for new life, and new life literally cannot happen when you still operate in the old mindset, or you operate in a mindset that's completely limiting, a poor mindset. So if you need to manifest anything, I don't think you should focus on manifesting as the process or a method, but you should focus on your mind renewal and a transformation, because what you dwell on in your mind for so long, it tends to happen on the outside. You can change your reality by changing what happens in your mind. And it's not just so mechanical, it just literally depends on what life is feeding you. Are you feeding from a life that is true, or are you feeding from textbooks or just words, empty words? These are the things that you should keep in mind. So, yeah, that is basically it. But if you ask me how I'm doing now, well, how I'm doing now, well, first off, I still have my moments where I remember the people that I've lost. But again, I never stop capping it with gratitude. I make gratitude a lifestyle, you know. So it really helps to keep the light on in my mind. The minute I stop showing gratitude, I turn the light off. So I make gratitude a lifestyle. I literally lean fully into my faith, and that's like the first thing. I journal. Yeah, I journal. I also feed my mind with the things that I want to feed it with, the things that can help it grow. So I feed my mind with the things that can help it grow. I challenge myself. I realize that the rejections are not part of my story, they are just a feature to my story. And these things, depending on how I take them, could either turn around for the better or linger for longer. So, those are things that I do. I The more that I meditate, I find more light, and I feel comfortable in how things progress. Do I have it completely figured out? No. Would I have some pushbacks? Yes. But despite those pushbacks, I am more inclined to the fact that the pushbacks are a way for me to take a moment and do it again. Take a moment, gratitude, reset, meditate, light. So the pushbacks are not, whatever they were meant to do, they can only prosper or succeed in its agenda if I align with it and if I agree with it. So I feed my mind constantly so I don't dwell on fearful thoughts. So, I mean, these are just a few of these things. It's a whole work on its own, but I just thought to come on here, be vulnerable as much as I can, and share some things. I hope that in this chit chat that you got one or two things. It's not scripted. It wasn't scripted, right? I tried to script it, but I felt, nah, I'm not scripting, because I mean, what do I say exactly, or how do I script this? So I'm just gonna let it flow and see how that goes and put that out there, not scripted at all. So I really hope that you get one or two things, even though it may be everywhere. And yeah, if you want me to work with you on figuring things out, even after a negative situation or traumatizing, whatever the case may be, I'm open to working with you. You can just hit the link in my bio, the description, and let me know. You can also subscribe for free empowerment guides and tips, right? So yeah, that will be all. I also subscribe to this channel if you like what we do here. That'll be all, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Bye.